Hello and welcome. My name is Carsten Lützen. I'm a Scrum Master, Agile Coach. Today I'll talk about this double diamond model that is really useful for planning workshops, retrospectives, meetings in general. People use it in design thinking and a lot of other places. If you like these videos, please subscribe and share. That would be highly appreciated by me. The idea behind this double diamond model is a way to structure meetings and workshops in a way that makes sure that we get a lot of value out from them. In general, it's actually quite simple. First off, we start with a problem statement up here. We have time going down here, by the way. We have a problem statement up here. Then we start to expand our problem domain to figure out how widespread is this problem, or how big it is it, what is the different views on this situation or this problem. When we are then getting to this point, then we start to contract the problem domain again to figure out, okay, so we should probably not try to fix everything at once. We should probably try to fix a fraction of it or a part of this problem domain. When we then agree that this is in fact our problem, then we can start to open up a new domain, the solution domain. And in this solution domain, we start out by expanding the solution domain, so we're opening it up. And then when we have a lot of possible solutions to pick from, then we start using different techniques to narrow it down to an agreed solution or agreed solutions. And I only learned the name of this model not that long time ago, to be honest, but I have been working like this because we also have the Derby-Larsen model for retrospectives, right? And you can easily map it to this double diamond model. But this is, in more general terms, how can we do a workshop? And some examples, for instance, if we are having a retrospective, how could we map that to this double diamond model? So if we have a retrospective, first off, we have had an icebreaker, we have set the stage and so on. Then what I like to do is having a starfish with an appreciative column. In this way we are brainstorming a lot of issues. So the problem statement is, how can we make this team even more awesome? And then the starfish helps us to identify a lot of problems. Then we need to actually pick one or more problems to focus on. We can do that by using dot voting. That is where we put small dots on the ones we like the most, and the ones with the most dots are the highest score and the ones that we continue to work with. Now we have identified the problem that worries us the most, or we'd like to address. Then we need to come up with solutions or potential solutions for this. For that we can use the 15% solutions from Liberating Structures. That gives us a framework, some tools how to identify the changes that we ourselves can do without the help from externals. And then with all these defined solutions to these problems, now we have more solutions, then we can do dot voting again to pick the solutions that we have the most faith in. In this way, we also reuse dot voting so people are familiar with it. So that was in the state of a retrospective. Let's say that we have a session where we are going to make a team goal. The problem statement could be something, what do we aspire to become as a team? Then I would maybe go with a conversation cafe to make sure everybody has some time to reflect, everybody has some time to talk, everybody is feeling heard. And again, really structured discussion. Then we open up the problem domain because now we start to hear from a lot of people. Then ending that discussion, I would probably debrief with a 1-2 for all. So starting individually, what did you notice the most that could become a nice team goal? And then up until the all part, where we then have a set of potential team goals that we would like to work towards. Then how do we then do something about it. How do we become better? Then we could use crowdsourcing in the liberating structure. In crowdsourcing, we both brainstorm, vote on them to figure out what is the winner. So this one actually covers these two parts of the double diamond model. And you don't need 4 exercises. You might have exercises that both expands and narrows the problem domain or the solution domain. It's just a nice way to make sure that we get the angles covered that we need for a given problem and find a good solution. I'm hoping that you will share how are you using this, are you using any other similar model, because it's really nice to have some of these frameworks in the back of the head when we are designing new workshops. So please share, that would be awesome. And as always, comments, questions, ideas and feedback is more than welcome. Have a nice day.